talking about bees today.
Yes, thanks for being here from Pet Pals TV. We appreciate it. And Stewie, of course, as well. We're not talking about Stewie today. We're talking about bees here with Kate Franzman. And thank you so much for coming in. Bees are so important to our environment, aren't they?
Yes, they are. My neighbor, I got a new neighbor moving in, and he goes, well, I'll be bringing my pets. And I thought, dogs and cats? Bees. So I learned more about it, and I want to help educate because I'm learning myself about this. We need them. What, 1 out of every 3 bites?
1 out of every 3 bites of food we can thank a pollinator for. So pollinators are any creature that visits flowers to get nectar, and by doing that, they fertilize all of the plants, and that means all the food that we eat.
Yeah, it's not just honey. I think people think bees and honey. And it's just this little tiny thing, but it impacts so much.
It does.
So what can we do to be more conscious of that part of our population?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you can do, one is planting flowers. Flowers are food for bees. Another thing is to not use pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. All those chemicals that we use in our backyards and on our gardens to control weeds can actually really harm pollinators. It may not kill them right away, but it can sort of mess up their GPS system so they can't make it back home to do what they need to do.
Yeah, well, that's not good for any of us, for pesticides. The more natural you can be, the better.
Yeah.
Every time I say bee now, I'm going to laugh. But the bees, I was reading, they're kind of like people. They get up in the morning, they go to work, they come home,
the sun wakes them up and they go do their thing.
And
they have a boss.
And there's a queen and a queen inside, and then everybody else bows down to her.
Yeah, basically, She actually never leaves the hive. Everybody caters to her.
Wow.
And then all the worker bees are female, and they're the ones that you see going to and from. If you have a beehive, you see them going to and from the beehive every day, and they're bringing back pollen and nectar to feed the rest of the hive. And the byproduct of that, they have a relationship with plants, is pollination. They're fertilizing our plants, and it's this whole big relationship, all this going around us all the time.
Why are we so afraid of them?
I think people are afraid of being stung.
But if they sting, that's a suicide mission.
It is. It's a completely last defense. They don't want to do it because they die, and the reason is because their stinger separates from their body. The females are the ones with stingers. The male bees actually don't have stingers.
Really?
So if you
There's a joke in there somewhere.
If you're getting out into your yard this summer and you notice a hive up in the corner of your roof or under your deck or something, what should be your next steps?
Yeah, so we're getting close to spring, and you might see bees in a big cluster. What they do in the spring is split into 2, and half of them swarm. And so seeing a giant ball of bees might seem really intimidating, but they're actually really calm when they're in that state. They just ate a bunch of food because they know it's like a road trip. They have to prepare, and they're not defending any of the babies or the honey that's usually in the hive. So they're just kind of hanging out very calmly. And if you do see a swarm, you should call a beekeeper, because a beekeeper can take that swarm and then put it into a beehive, and they might decide to live there.
So don't just go get like some spray.
What is this I'm holding?
So the new fashion statement, Patty.
This is the spring collection. This is one of many bee suits that I have. So I have some that go all the way, like Ghostbusters style, all the way to my ankles. This is the one I typically wear, though, because honeybees are quite gentle. The only time where I really have to be conscious of it is if the weather is kind of bad. Bees get a little bit grumpy, so if it's kind of rainy outside, because they want to get out there and do what they're supposed to do. So
and they don't like the cold either.
And they don't like the cold. They don't leave their hive unless it's above a certain temperature, because they don't go to the bathroom inside.
Bees will not go to the bathroom in their own house.
They're very clean.
Did you know that?
That's so interesting. Now people can learn a lot more. Beepublic.com, right?
Beepublic.com.
Two bees, obviously.
Yes, so it's a pun. There's so many bee puns.
Yes. We have Pet Pals TV coming up today, right?
It's a honey of a show. Too.
You
see what
You're so sweet.
We've got some animals down under Australia and New Zealand.
Wow.
All those cool animals. Ann and John Craig Cinnamon went there and brought some video back for us. And also, we have a cat that goes to the brewery. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't expect you to say that, Patty. You're full of surprises, aren't you?
Okay.
Well, Kate, thank you so much for coming on and teaching us so much in just a really short amount of time.